It's a lot of shit going on in the city that I'm proud of, man. I mean, they finally got the light shining on the city, my nigga. And I'm just proud of everybody that's doing their dollar, my nigga. Keep doing it. Just know y'all got my support. It's Dade County.
And while you out telling my business,
what up, is YouTube? And what they do, Caniacs? Caniac Chris here, back at you with another video. I don't know what I'm gonna call this one. It's a bunch of sports mumbo jumbo. I'm real behind with the videos I wanted to make, so I'm gonna squeeze like 7 or 8 topics in this one video instead of making a bunch of separate ones. If you just bear with me, I appreciate it. So where do we start here? Let's see. I think it was last Friday. Surge 19, the 2019 recruiting class of the Miami Hurricanes, added a commitment from Jason Blissett, defensive end out of Brooklyn, New York, being recruited as a defensive tackle. He was said to be Rutgers' top target at the position, so that's what we mainly beat him out for. But he had a much more impressive list of offers from the likes of Minnesota, Boston College, Duke, Florida, Indiana, Maryland, Purdue, Rice, Syracuse, Tennessee, Texas A&M, UCF, Virginia, Wake Forest, Yale, Dartmouth. I see if you got schools on your offer list like Yale and Dartmouth, then grade certainly isn't an issue with this recruit, so that's a good sign. We won't have no problem with him making clearinghouse. So he decided to stick with his pledge to the Miami Hurricanes and go ahead and come suit up for us from his time in 2019. He's listed as a 3-star right now. He's also listed at 6 foot 3 inches, 280 pounds. We got his highlight tape. I was a fan of one of the defensive tackles that we had committed, Denzel Daxon out of Carroll City. But apparently Coach Simpson likes this guy better, and I'll go ahead and trust his opinion since he's the one being paid to make those kinds of decisions. Let's check out his tape. Number 2 overall player in New York for his class. Number 1 defensive end for the state, I suppose. Coming out of Poly Prep up there in Brooklyn. See what we got here. Ooh, nice get through the line right there. He didn't get touched. Quick step off of the snap. Chasing down the quarterback on the other side, forcing the fumble. Probably was a scoop and score on that play. Okay. Yeah, I like him, man. This little push and pull by, get by, don't waste no time on the blockers, setting blocks real quick. But we got a trench bully on our hands. His Twitter account said he got a trench bully, but you know, it's gonna look like he might be backing that up. Yeah, he got quick hands. Shed another block, make a tackle in the backfield. Wraps up real good. And I don't know how great the level of competition up there that way is. I'm not from the area, but he looks pretty dominant. Steady harassing the backfield. Harassing the quarterback, I mean. Disruptive in the backfield. Setting the edge. Yeah, man, like a man among boys so far, man. Chasing guys back on the line of scrimmage. They can't get away from him. Yeah, look at him chasing the guy down. Making plays on the opposite side of the formation. getting skinny, getting to the offensive line real quick. Got a nice little push-pull move, get by. Got a bulldoze. A little rip, swim, all the techniques. Yeah. We played a little high right there, but besides that, I don't see nothing I don't like about this kid yet. Real good disengaging from the offensive lineman. Like the effort to chase the guys down the opposite side of the field. So we got a blocked field goal right here. That's great. Block punt too. Oh yeah. That's effort, man. Can't coach that. We got a side B over here. Offense, okay. Offensive highlights too. We're doing offense. The offensive lineman, pancake block. Is he a tackle or a guard here? Like a left tackle. If his quarterback's right-handed, left tackle's the guy you trust the most in the offensive line, so. Yeah, hashtag Trent Bully on that one. Got a pancake block on there. Taking guys down the field. Look at him, man. He's violent. We need some dogs like that, man. I like violence in the O-line in the trenches. But yeah, man, that's all we got for that one. I like what I saw. Welcome to Serve 19, Mr. Jason Blissett Jr. Hashtag Trench Bully, defensive tackle, defensive end, offensive tackle. Again, I believe I read somewhere he was being recruited mainly as a defensive tackle, so that's something to focus on there. He looked pretty good there. Let's see what he can do. Keep an eye on him. Wait for him to come in next year, suit up for the team. Welcome to the Hurricanes. Over the weekend, the Miami Hurricanes also added a verbal commit from a defensive tackle out of the class of 2021. He's a freshman in high school. The Miami Southwest High playing for the Eagles out there. This is Savion Collins. He is listed at 6'4", 265. He is said to have won an offer after impressing Coach Simpson at a camp, apparently winning reps against older offensive linemen. I'm guessing that was a Paradise camp. I don't know if it was there or somewhere else. Help me out if you know in the comments. He's going to be the fourth commit of the class that I believe for the Hurricanes in 2021 is number one so far, joining three other locals to have previously been discussed in prior videos already in Booker T. Washington's top 100 defensive end, Donnell Harris. We talked about him earlier. We got Fort Lauderdale's American Heritage safety James Williams and a top 100 O-lineman Lawrence Seymour out of Miami Central High School with the Rockets. And the fourth guy we got here, defensive tackle Savion Collins, is going to join that class. I hope that guys all stick. Because it's so far so good with that class, man. They're looking loaded. I'm going to see what highlight film I can find on Mr. Savion Collins out of his huddle profile. Let's see here. Cue it up. His pinned highlight on his page is against Cole Park. So I'm going to assume that's the one he would want me to look at. Just his nickname, Big Bullet. Okay. We got another Trench Bully on our hands. Let's see. Like to jump on the power time. Yeah. Always want to get to the ball. Even if we ain't the first one there, he playing to the whistle. You don't never know what'll happen with the football. Get in the backfield there. Also, give us a good effort, run down the sideline and make a tackle, force a fumble on that play. Seems to be able to disengage from the old lineman pretty quickly. Get in the backfield. Wraps his guy up. I prefer guys to wrap up their guys in tackle attempts rather than look for the big body collisions and knockout blows and go with the easy tackles to break. That's all we have for the highlight film there, but to continue that same point, yeah, he wraps up his guys, but what I'd rather see is him be a little bit more aggressive there and wrap up and look to punish the ball carrier rather than just wrap him up and go down with him or go down backwards with a lot of ball carrier to gain any yards at the contact. But he is a freshman, so he got plenty of time to clean that up. Otherwise, it looked like everything else was pretty good there. So there you have it with Mr. Savion Collins joining the class of 2021. I'm going to keep my eye out for him. Hope he has a very productive and drama-free high school career up until he's ready to suit up for the orange and green and help us out on this defensive line. But yeah, man, that's it for the recruiting noteworthy news so far. What else I wanted to talk about? Last weekend's college football game between the Miami Hurricanes and Toledo Rockets up there at Glasgow Stadium at UT. I was able to attend that game. I have a little bit of footage from it. I'll post that up in a minute. Had good seats. Saw Mr. Polindi get hurt during warm-ups, and I've since learned he's out for the season. That sucks because we're kind of thin at tight end now, even though we have two who I believe are more than serviceable freshmen at the position. I didn't want them to be the only two guys at the position with experience, but that seems to be the case now. So we have a walk-on tight end that's going to kind of replace Polindi that's been with us since the summer. Can't think of his name on top of my head right now. Let me see. Looks like his name is Nicholas Duchesne. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. Not a whole lot of video out there on him that I could find, but what I did see is that he was with us in the summertime, so he's not totally new to the program. I suppose that's a good thing as far as him being a walk-on. So yeah, barring any position changes, that's going to be our third and final body for the season at the tight end position. But yeah, man, on to the game notes. We were actually pitching a shutout up there in Toledo until late in the second quarter, where Jaquan Johnson got hurt and didn't come back for the rest of the game. Although he did still manage to lead the game in tackles for our entire defense, playing less than a half. As far as his injury is concerned, he's day-to-day, along with Demond Richards still. Don't know yet whether or not he'll be playing in the FIU game. DJ Dallas was a beast in that game. JT Money, Jeff Thomas, was a beast in that game. Trajan Bandy caught another turnover chain. He's the man. I'm somewhat disappointed in our linebacker play so far overall. I will say Knowles worries me. I think Malik played well in that game. Yes, I know it was against Toledo, but when he plays poorly, I go out of my way to say so. So when he plays well, I'm going to go out of my way to say so. It's just fair. After Jaquan got hurt, Toledo played well enough to put pressure on us to keep them at arm's distance. And Malik and the offense did exactly that until Toledo waved their white flag late in the third quarter, going early into the fourth quarter. So credit to them for that. I don't recall any bad punts or missed field goals or any turnovers or giveaways by the offense. So, those are pluses. There were a few out-of-bounds kickoffs, but that's the worst of our kicking problems. I'll take that. Bottom line, we more or less handle business like we should be. Final score was 49-24 in favor of the Canes. No complaints from me there. Also noteworthy was the offense converting on multiple third and short and fourth and short opportunities, including punching in a touchdown from the goal line with Chop, Trayon Gray, if you don't know who Chalk is. The defense didn't get off the field when they had the opportunity to more often than not, save for when we was reeling from the Johnson injury. I personally hope to see Gervin Hall or Amari Carter get reps in these situations because I think I've seen just about enough of Robin Knowles. But yeah, man, all in all, I had fun on the trip to Toledo. I thought the little bit of footage I got from it. And y'all can see where I was and what the game looked like from my perspective.
Oh, you gotta get it.
Touchdown to Miami.
Let's go, Ken!
From the dirt, from the bottom of muscle, whatever you call it, just know it was God. Whenever you discussing my life like a book of
There you go, baby! Yeah! Let's go! Touchdown, baby! Let's go! Let's go, gang! Yeah! Yeah!
Market fans, we want to see you in the Glass Bowl on Saturday.
So yeah, moving on to the Week 1 recap of the Miami Dolphins versus Tennessee Titans game. I never did. It was literally the longest game ever, but we did win. We lost to veteran guard Josh Sitton for the year. He got hurt on special teams. I don't know why he was even on special teams. Seems like every time we sign a vet to help our O-line out, something like this happens. Tannehill, he didn't look too bad. Threw 20 for 28, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had 2 interceptions, one of which was a fade route to Gesicki in the end zone where he fell down on his route with the ball and was still in the air due to, I guess, incidental contact since no flag was thrown. But, yeah, that was one of his picks. And the other one, I don't remember how it happened, but he had 2 of them. And Frank Gore, he came just short of the, I think, 75 rushing yards needed to move up a spot in the all-time rushing yards list. He had 9 carries for 61 yards. So I expected him to go ahead and pick up the rest of the yards needed to move up on that list in the following game. In the Tennessee game, we had a familiar foe in Dion Lewis, knowing him from his days playing against the Patriots. He had a pretty good day against us for the Titans, both in rushing and receiving. Marcus Mariota sustained some kind of injury to his throwing hand that sidelined him for the remainder of the game after throwing 2 picks on, what is his stats, 9 for 16 and 103 yards and no touchdowns. Blaine Gabbert would come in and finish the eventually 8-hour-long game due to multiple weather delays. We had lightning in the area, I guess. That finally saw a final score of 27-20 in favor of the Miami Dolphins. Rookie Minkah Fitzpatrick had a good debut with 1 pass broken up and 6 tackles, including 1 big one on the 4th down of a goal line stand. We also saw Jakeem Grant give us a kick return for a touchdown on what I believe was the first house call of his career. I'm hoping there's a lot more where that came from. But yeah, man, all the lightning delays aside and how long the game took, it was an entertaining game. It was pretty back and forth for the most part. And the Dolphins came out with the win and be 1-0 in the home opener, which was all that was really important for that game. So, yeah, fins up. The next opponent for the Miami Dolphins was the much-hated New York Jets. This was our Week 2 game. The New York Jets in Week 1 played, was it Sunday night or Monday night? They played the Detroit Lions, and they came out looking really good against Detroit. And a lot of people, we weren't really sure if the Jets were that good or if the Detroit Lions were just that bad. Seems like the Lions hadn't really been great since the retirement of Megatron a couple years ago, but let the media tell it. The Jets had something to do with dictating the outcome of that game more so than the Lions' inefficiencies, as everybody was picking them to beat us comfortably. If you know anything about the history of the rivalry between those two teams, you know how much Dolphins fans hate the Jets. We had Frank Gore finally go ahead and get them rushing yards he needed to pass Curtis Martin, who's a Jet, for most of his career on the all-time rushing list. He's now 4th on the list, I believe, behind Emmitt Smith, who, in my opinion, shouldn't be beyond Walter Payton. Walter Payton's 2nd on the list. I think he's ahead of, is it Fred Taylor or Barry Sanders? One of those two. And then behind that is Frank Gore, who's now a Dolphin. He's, if you don't know, from Miami, Florida. He went to Coral Gables High School and played for the Miami Hurricanes as well. But, yeah, one of the other interesting stats is how Ryan Tannehill at quarterback had more rushing yards than the entire New York Jets team. We had a couple of bad turnovers. Most of them we had our defense come in and bail us out, like one turnover where Ryan Tannehill had fumbled really before he was touched as he was getting pressured by, I think it was Copeland, who had already put in a few good licks on him previously in the game. But that turnover had set up the Jets with what looked like undeniable scoring position. It was, if it wasn't in the red zone, it was close to it. But we had Xavier Howard bail us out with the interception in the end zone. That was probably the biggest play he's had as a Dolphin so far in his career. And it was just real huge during the game to deny the New York Jets from pitting up even a field goal at that point in the game, because it looked like momentum was changing and going their direction And right there, we kind of took it back. Thanks to one Mr. Xavier Howard. I noticed, if you were a Hurricane fan, you probably noticed too that the New York Jets tight end is Chris Herndon, a former Miami Hurricane, but as a Dolphins fan, I had to root against him on that day because he plays for the Jets now and is the enemy, so to speak. And I had to be glad they didn't have a good day that day against us. We had a bend but don't break kind of defense that looks good when the scoreboard is in our favor, but statistically, their quarterback Sam Darnold didn't have a bad day. He did throw for over 300 yards, but other than that, he was kind of ineffective. As the Jets' offense kind of moved the ball up and down the field, but weren't able to take advantage by scoring points. We had our linebacker, Kiko Alonso, had a hell of a day, posting career-high marks in multiple categories with 13 solo tackles and 2 forced fumbles. We did have our kicker miss an extra point after a touchdown, which is worrisome, but it ended up being a non-factor as the Jets did the same thing after one of their touchdowns, and they never actually caught up to us anyway for it to matter. I did notice one of our defensive tackles, Dwyane out there making a play or two. That was real nice to see as a fan that was kind of worried about what our Dolphins would do at DT without suing our team any longer. The Dolphins right now sit alone atop the AFC East and are one of only 7 remaining teams with an unblemished record so far this season. The final score of this game was Dolphins 20, Jets 12. So yeah, man, the fans stand at 2-0, fins up. And I guess while we're still on the topic of the Miami Dolphins, we might as well go ahead and go into a preview of this weekend's game against the Oakland Raiders. We are at home against the 0-2 Oakland Raiders, who are looking to get their first win of the season against the 2-0 Miami Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida. As far as the Raiders are concerned, they have a real competent QB and Derek Carr, monster running back, and Marshawn Lynch, a very serviceable and dependent veteran tight end, and Jared Cook. Have a very good wideout combo of Amari Cooper and Martavius Bryant. I don't know who's in their slot or how they line up Bryant, nor do I know how good the O-line is, or should I be worried about that. However, this is somewhat of a homecoming for wide receiver Amari Cooper, who's a fellow alumnus of Miami Northwestern High School, before he went to go play his college ball at Alabama, getting drafted by the Oakland Raiders, where he still plays now. Their head coach is John Gruden. A lot of Florida football fans are familiar with him with his days in Tampa Bay. We know him as an offensive-minded, old-school, no-nonsense, real hard-nosed type of head coach. He looks to establish the run first and would prefer defensively to stop us from doing the same. With the departure of linebacker Khalil Mack, the Raiders' defense isn't nearly as scary / equipped to do so as it was. Ipso facto, I believe the keys to victory for us is to beat him at his own game, and use the exact same game plan. Now, the way I envision this game going, the first and most consistent team to establish the run is probably going to win. So let's hope the Dolphins can do that and come out with a W and stay undefeated, keep the winning ways going, and at the end of the game, our record should be 3-0. But I still ride with them Dolphins. Next thing I wanted to talk about was this weekend's game between the Miami Hurricanes and the Florida International University Golden Panthers. There's a bit of nostalgia involved in this game, as the last time we played, if you remember, was the famous brawl between these two teams. A lot of locals on both sides, players that used to live close to each other and play with or against each other in high school or grew up together. I don't believe there's any real beef between us and them right now. That brawl was over a decade ago, and nobody on the current roster or coaching staff or even the entire football administration on either side were present for that incident. So, yeah, there's that. FIU's football team is, however, led by one Paul Hilton Davis Jr., better known to Canes fans as former head coach Bush Davis. who took over the U coming out of our Pell Grant scandal and probation period in the mid to late 90s. He's maybe the greatest Italian talent evaluator we've ever had as a head coach, and is responsible for assembling the 2001 Miami Hurricanes football team, which is widely recognized as the greatest college football team ever. And not just Miami's best team, but the best team in the history of the sport itself anywhere. If you're familiar with the U, then I don't believe I got to run down a list of names of the great players that coexisted on that single roster, one of which was quarterback Ken Dorsey, who is now the assistant athletic director at FIU. And unlike Butch Davis, this is his first time returning to Miami as a so-called enemy. So you can imagine the sentiments involved there. Davis, on the other hand, may or may not actually harbor a hard feeling or two towards the U, as he was looked over for the head coaching job that was eventually given the current head coach, Mark Richt. And it's not like the U is absent reason to harbor a hard feeling or two right back at Coach Davis, given the manner in which he departed when he was the head football coach here for the U. But that's enough about the old guys. The football game be decided by the players in the field, and while FIU does have its fair share of South Florida talent so as to not be slept on per se, they not the U. I mean, we are. So for that reason alone, I'm looking for Miami to take care of business in all phases of this football game. I don't much care what the final score is. Just come out with a comfortable, drama-free, and hopefully injury-free W. On another note, rest in peace to the late Kane great Brian Patter, whose unsolved and untimely murder happened shortly after the last time we played FIU. All that said, let's go Canes. That should be our third win of the season to pick the Miami Hurricanes record at 3-1. And that's about all the football talk I had, but I'm actually not done. There is some basketball news, as we have a video from Mr. Dwyane Wade coming back for what he says is one last dance. I'm going to go ahead and cue up that video and let him tell you for himself.
When you first come in the league, the vets tell you, they say, young fella, it's going to go by fast. You think at that time, I'm just getting started. As I stand here today, September 16th, roughly 1:15 p.m., I'm here to tell you, it goes by fast. It's been a tough summer. This has been a summer for me that not a lot of athletes want to see this time come, where you have to decide if you want to continue to play the game that you love, continue to play the game that you played for me, 31 years, since I was 5, or if you want to walk away, if you want to do something else, if you want to clear the path and let the next generation come. And it's a lot of emotions that go with that. You ask yourself so many questions. You're like, can I physically do it? Can I physically get out of bed every day to do this? Can I deal with every step hurting in the morning? Can I deal with the travel? Can I be away from my family? Is it selfish of me wanting to continue to be away from my family? Can I miss my son games? Can I miss my son? Can I not be there in moments that they need me? Can I not read to my kids as much as I want? Can I not be there to support my wife? It's all these things, and these things to you guys may seem small, but to me, they real. I feel like my family have put me first for so many years, for good reasons. But I feel like it comes a point in time where we all got to think about someone else, and especially the ones around you that have supported you, supported your dreams, supported your journey, like my family have. I'll give y'all a quick run through of my life. A lot of you guys see me as a 3-time champion, a 12-time All-Star, Olympic gold medalist. But what y'all didn't see is y'all didn't see that kid that no one seen because he was small, because he couldn't shoot as good as everybody else, because he wasn't athletic as everybody else, because he was from the inner city of Chicago, because he lived in a town called Robbins, Illinois. Y'all didn't see that person. Y'all didn't see the grind. Y'all didn't see the tears. Y'all didn't see the moments where it just looked like it wouldn't happen. So everybody have these ideas of who I supposed to be and what I supposed to be and how I supposed to be it. I didn't have those ideas. I just had a dream of being in the NBA. And man, as I sit here 15 years later, how did I end up having a career and a life so far in this game of basketball that I've had? I didn't play varsity until my junior year. I wasn't good enough to play because I didn't play. I had 3 scholarship offers to go to school. 3.5, I had a partial one to another school. I had to sit out my first year when I went to college. I couldn't play. I got drafted 5th in the NBA draft in 2003, but it wasn't about me. But I worked. I believed. I believed that if I put the work in, if I laid it all out there, if I gave everything to this game, I can walk away from this game with my head up high. And people along the way, along this journey told me, young fella, you can't keep playing that way. You can't keep playing that way. You're not going to last long. And maybe they right. Maybe they was right. Maybe if I would have became more of a jump shooter, if I became more of this, I wouldn't be sitting here at 36 years old asking myself, do I want to walk away from this game? But that's not me. You guys know me. When I'm into something, when I believe in something, I go 110% into it. And that's what I did. So I gave my body up. I gave my county up. I gave my money up. I gave everything up to get to that dream, that goal that I always wanted to get to. And that's the feeling of being a champion. That's the feeling of being a part of something that's bigger than you. I've always wanted that from where I grew up in the inner city of Chicago. I always wanted to be a part of something that was bigger than me. And this game has been that. It's been bigger than me. It's been bigger than how many points I can score. It's been bigger than how many times I hear my name in the starting lineup. It's been bigger than. So as I stand in front of this camera today, as I talk with nobody in this room, I'm talking to you guys, I'm talking to my fans, and I want to say, along the journey, the people that supported me before the world knew me, thank you. The ones that push me when I'm down, the ones that tell me I can keep doing it. My family, my wife, my mom, my sister, so forth and so on, thank you. But I also want to thank my fans along this journey, the ones that got a chance to know me, the ones that's tried to get a chance to know me. Thank you guys for the love, man. Like, Wade County, I have a county. A lot of you guys don't know because y'all look at us as superheroes. Kids look at you as superheroes. You guys see us on TV, y'all look at us as superheroes, but we're human. I lost somebody very important in my life. And when I lost Hank, I lost a part of me. You know, I lost a part of that joy in the game of basketball. From a kid, we always play to make people proud. You want your mom proud. You want your dad proud. You know, at one point, I wanted my older brother proud. When Hank came in my life, I wanted Hank to be proud of me. Part of this journey. And with him not being there last year, that was it. I lost something from this game. And me getting traded back to Miami, it helped. But it wasn't enough. Dang. So this decision is bigger than the game of basketball. This decision don't have nothing to do with the talent that I have in my body. Yeah, I'm not as quick as I used to be. Yeah, I don't jump as high as I used to. And boy, I used to get up. Yeah, I don't. But it's things in this game that I have that I can write a book on, that I can still do and I can still accomplish. with an organization, with a team, with the right individual, with the right coach, in the right situation. But it's a lot of things you guys don't know that we deal with. And I have dealt with this summer to make this decision. And this is the hardest decision that I've ever had to make. But it's one of the best decisions that I've had to make as well. To be in this position. To be in this position that I'm in. To have the career that I've had. I can't do nothing but smile on it. I can't do nothing but just enjoy it like I've had. So this decision is not easy. It's not. And I've asked myself why and why not and what not and all these things. And I've heard everything from my family to my fans around the world of what I should and shouldn't do. But I've always did things my way. Whether they've been good or whether they've been bad, I got here because I've done things the way that I feel is right for me and that was right for my family. And what I feel is right, I feel is right to ask you guys to join me for one last dance, for one last season. This is it. I've given this game everything that I have, and I'm happy about that. And I'm gonna give it for one last season, everything else I have left. And when I walk away, I'm still gonna love it. I'm still gonna wanna play it. I'm still gonna miss the playoff moments. I'm still gonna miss the crowd cheering my name. I'm still gonna miss 20,000 booing for me. I said booing for me because that's what they're doing. But I ask y'all, let's enjoy it. Let's have some joy through this last season. Let's push this young team over the hump. And let's write our own story to the end of this career together. Together. Season 1-6, internally we call it Sweet 16. It's coming to an arena real soon.
So yeah, man, that's pretty much the state of Miami sports all the way around for this week. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. I appreciate y'all for bearing with me. I hope you enjoyed and stay tuned for the next video. Like Kenny and Chris always say, man, it's all Miami all the time. Let's go Canes, fins up, let's go Heat, etc. With that said, I'll see y'all next time. Kenny and Chris signing out.
It's a lot of shit going on in the city that I'm proud of, man. I mean, they finally got the light shining on the city, my nigga. And I'm just proud of everybody that's doing their dollar, my nigga. Keep doing it. Just know y'all got my support. It's Dade County.
And while you out telling my business.